We're chasing comedy, working on jokes, working on bits, seeing what sticks, seeing what stinks. We're Brian and Dustin, and we're chasing comedy.
Tony V loved the AI comedian.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just won the Lifetime Achievement Award for Boston comedy and opened for Billy Burr at Fenway for like 50,000 people or whatever.
Wow. I just did 18,000. I thought that was a big deal, but whatever. With your 50,000.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, we did a run. We did like 3 arenas. We did Baltimore, Columbus, and Pennsylvania. So. Yeah,
how'd it go?
It was good. It was, it's still always like a adjustment just performing in front of that many people, and you have to be clean and all that. So it's like, it's crazy, and it's just the round is definitely, makes it a little more approachable because you can actually see people. They're, they're closer than, some crazy behind the back, and they're all in the front or whatever. So it's good. It was, I did new stuff, which, I'm pretty proud of myself. On the last show, I did new stuff in front of like 18,000. So I was like, hey, let me try this,
Oh, that is balls.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's because it's like, you want to switch it up. Everybody's so paranoid they're not going to crush. And so my thing was like, I just want to feel comfortable. The more I'm comfortable when I'm doing something new, and sometimes like it makes me looser. Like, all right, it's not a big deal. Stop trying to feel like you got to be perfect. So it was good.
So what'd you do new? What's the new?
I did that thing we were kind of working on with the cruise ships, and the guys in the elevator with the political hat, and the gay guys, and and there's no hate. We're just trying. There's one common thread: get to the buffet, and then some of that stuff, and then just kind of played around with kind of stuff about the local whatever Baltimore, and making fun of their crime, and just playing around.
That's great.
Because I think that's what helps in that environment, because it's so overwhelming. You're like, oh my gosh, it's like what is it? What am I going to do? And then so the looser I am, the better I'm going to be. As opposed to,
yes, absolutely.
It's it's the opposite of locking in. It's more kind of like unlocking it a little bit. I think makes it easier.
So that's good.
Yeah.
Keep it loose.
Yeah. I think, I don't know, works. I mean, Nate's up there doing, brand new stuff and stuff. So you're just like, I gotta, I can't just do the same set I'm always doing all the time. I gotta grow as well, even though they're there for him. I still gotta grow, because you get and you get a pretty good fan base from it, so it's pretty great. It's
right.
Like a lot of people follow you.
That's like that's a question I get asked a lot. And we've talked about this obviously, but like how much of what you do, like how much of what you do you really script out, and how much of it is just, I have an idea, I'm just going to riff on stage? Like, everyone asks me that question, and sometimes when I riff, it's great. Other times it's just, I don't have the joke yet. So, but the precision is off. And if it's one word off, it doesn't fly, it's like, and so what's your thing with that?
I think I'm caring. This is going to sound horrible. I'm caring less and less about the audience.
Okay.
I really am. Like watching someone like Mark Maron and his special stuff. Like I think even Nate. Like you have to kind of like you want to crush with them, and you want the jokes to land. But sometimes it's like they don't always know where the best part is, and so I don't give them that control. As I'm trying to give them less control. Let me be the in charge of this. And a lot of times I think comics let the audience be in charge, and they're so anxious to get the laugh. And so I'm trying to be more kind of in control of how I'm going to create the narrative, as opposed to just like, oh, here's the funny part, and it's like, you better laugh. And, it's like, I don't know. I'm growing out of that a little bit, because I watch everybody that's like huge, and most of them are, Chappelle it's not the audience, it's what he's saying, and he's controlling that laughter. And so I feel like too many comics are just trying to hit a punch instead of like really do what they want to do. Because I think if you're convicted, you have that conviction, then it's like they're going to laugh because you feel it. And I always say, if you feel it, then it's something you should do. So I don't know, I'm trying to feel more and be less, insecure about pleasing them. And
Right.
so that's helped me
Is
in my
that-
confidence.
That's really cool. That's interesting. Like I because I go back and forth and well, but I don't have the flow of that joke. I like to have precision in my writing, but that also inhibits it inhibits the flow. But if I stick the landing on it, it's like, oh, boom, it's like,
Yeah.
it's like,
And we always
know.
have something in our holster. So I think that's really, to me, it's like every new joke I do, I automatically know what the B plan is for that joke. So if this joke is going to kind of fizzle out, I know I got this joke to bring it back where I need it to be, as far as a crusher set or whatever. So yeah, I think but it's like when you do that and you don't think about the joke that'll probably pick it back up, that's a problem. You just kind of like, just Miranda off into this thing, an abyss of like, where do I go next?
Oh yeah. So if it flounders, you're dead. I mean, or at least you're off the rails. You're off you went off the rails. Yeah.
And a lot of times they don't know. They don't know that you're, going off if you have a backup. If when you have a backup joke that's like similar in kind of its context, I think it could just be like, oh, that's the end. Is this like they don't know that this is not the end. It could just be that joke that's kind of has the same, it ties in with it a little bit, but it's a more worked out joke. So I make sure that joke is ready to go. So if I have a joke that I'm exploring about race and it's not quite fleshed out, I have this other race joke that's going to be like, bam, oh, there you go. So that's the joke. So they just see it as like this piece that might have like had, a little more listening involved or whatever. And then, oh, boom, here's the funny part. And so I don't know. I always feel that's what we do as comics. We always have to piece together everything, it's like, but when comics just try to do all new and they're not, using their jokes as backup, I think they could be a problem. But I think we've been doing it so long, we always got backup jokes, and I think
I mean, obviously, that's probably the best way to go is to just have that thing, use that thing in your holster. I always get like I have this thing where because sometimes I'll go up, like at the cellar, she puts me up first. And other places put me up last.
Yeah.
It's and I do that a lot where I'm like, they want somebody strong right at the beginning. They want somebody really strong at the end. So like, and so, and it's such a different energy closing and the bullet spot, that first spot where the crowd isn't really acclimated to comedy yet, or even aware,
or they're tired at the end. So it's
exactly. Yes, it's a completely different animal, and audiences are just this weird animal, and you go up first. And I always like to call out whatever the situation is, and I have this little patter, which I'm still not happy with, but I go up and say, a lot of comedians. So first of all, a lot of comedians go later in the show, and the crowd is primed, pumped up, and locked in. I don't like that. I like this early vibe when you're scattered, distracted, and unfocused. That totally takes care of that thing. But I swear I must have written 4 pages of combinations of what the words are. Scattered, distracted, and unfocused is what I currently have. But fidgety, skeptical, unenthused, apathetic,
that really depends on the venue, because some venues they're already they're sat, they've ordered, and then they're just looking at you, and then that joke would be like, well, actually, we're not scattered, we're ready,
right?
So really
so you got to obviously read that. If they're locked in, I don't do that, right? And even but there's also different types of disinterest, like there's we're putting on our coats. We've written off the first comedian, like a lot of people don't commit. Uncommitted is also another word that I like to use. And that's uncommitted where you're still assessing, who's worthy of your attention, and just saying that is like, that turns the audience around right away, because I call out exactly what that is. And I like doing that. It's just that I always go, what's the right word? Inattentive, unfocused, unimpressed. Like I literally got to obviously do my thesaurus thing. And I sat for hours trying to come up with the proper, venue. So basically what I'm saying is hearing you riffing, and rather than going for the exact, I got to nail the scattered, distracted, and unfocused. Scattered, distracted, and unfocused. You know, it's like like that's.
Well, I went first on a couple of these shows, and it's like, you know, it's like, and I think a lot of people just assume the first acts aren't going to be as good, obviously, and they're not there to see you, and so all that stuff. But it's funny because I could say this with confidence. I don't have a closer. I never have, and I felt kind of weird about it. And then Jim Gaffigan was talking about his comedy with like Seinfeld and actually Nate and stuff, and he was saying, he goes, "Yeah, I don't have a closer. I don't know what you guys are talking about." They were talking about they have a couple of different closers, and it's like, I just go up there and I talk, and then when the time's up, I say goodnight, and that's kind of how I feel. Like I don't know, you know, I feel, but I also trust most of my jokes are going to land well enough to be closer material. But it's like, but I don't have a thing really that I'm like, oh, this is my thing, and so I just like. You know, that's one thing that's kind of like, I do not know where the landing is. And so I'm a little anxious about it, but it creates kind of, you know, this like unknown in me that might make me funny because I'm kind of like manic about it, but it's like, I never know when I'm going to close. I have no idea.
Yeah.
So I have a couple of jokes, you know.
Yeah, and you know, I'm the opposite of that.
Yeah, but you have a great closer. You have a great couple of closers you can use. Yeah, I have jokes that probably should be closers, but sometimes I feel like I want to get momentum going, and I'll bang them out in the first couple of minutes to get them up so I can, you know, kind of play or whatever. So it's like, everybody has their own strategy, I think. I don't think there's you know.
Yeah, I have like a handful of closers, and I like to tinker with a callback or something like that. Like I have
it's great. It works perfect for you.
And but I kind of wish that you know, like everything else, you watch somebody and you go, I want to do that. You know, I wish I was like that, you know, more be able to be more loosey-goosey with that, because I tend to get very precise with, okay, I got to do this thing that buttons everything at the end, or brings this thing to a crescendo of laughter. You know,
but that's your brain. Your brain, you have that comedy brain. You know, whereas like I don't know when this, you know, I think it comes from upbringing as well, you know, where it's like I always like you know, we moved in the middle of the night a lot when I was a kid, so I'm used to the unknown. I don't know what's gonna happen any given moment, and so there's this anxiety in me that's like, I don't know what's gonna happen, you know. Like I was trying
great. By the way, that is a great comedic frame that you might not even realize, like the fact that you moved a lot, like you're an army brat, let's say, you know, the army brat kind of thing, because people who are army brats, they have this psychological thing where they have to make friends very quickly, you know, or be able to like talk to people. Some of them have serious issues, but other ones are recognize that they have to acclimate very quickly to differing environments. So like if you say, you could do so much with that. Like I moved in the middle of the night. Like I could get at any moment, my father could knock on the door and said, you know, the IRS is outside. Pack a light bag again. You know,
I was like the last scene of Goodfellas, or you know, Casino.
Yes,
last scene of Casino, where he's like looking for choppers.
Yes. They're just stuffing stuff into a gunny sack, okay, and hitting the road, okay. Yeah. That was your life, like every 10 minutes. And then you do a specific story where you go, one time we were at a place for 2 days and then we had to pack up and go to another, like, you know, like if you flesh that out. So basically.
I thought Motel 6 was an apartment building. I had no idea.
That's funny. Write that down. Do that. Is that a joke you have? Do that.
No,
you know?
No, I don't. That's funny.
Okay. Write it down.
Moving in the middle of the night. Yeah.
To me, Motel 6, you know, my father could like bang on my door at any hour of the night. Hey, it's 3 p.m. on a Sunday. Dustin, you want to go camping? You know, like, you know, hey, Dustin, road trip, you know. And when my father said that, we didn't know whether that was Six Flags or one step ahead of the the PSE&G or the cable guy or I don't know what we did, the electric bill or you know what I mean, like one of those things, you know, or the law. I like that. You know,
I like it's the uncertainty. So it's like I live with that all the time. I always tell people this is something funny to me too, where I can always tell how like the difference in lives that people have experienced by how kind of calm they are, you know, like I've lived in bad neighborhoods in New York and different places and stuff. So I'm always ready for something to happen. Like I don't, you know what I mean? Like I don't trust you know, that everything's just going to go fine all the time. Like I'm just assuming somebody is going to just, try to mug me or I could be in a fancy hotel and I just see a guy and I just think, oh, that guy's going to try to shoot everybody.
It's called catastrophizing. Yeah. It's
all
like
the time.
Any catastrophizers in the audience? Any
That's funny.
Catastrophizers? Yeah. What am I catastrophizing? Like I'm standing here right now opening for Nate and I'm expecting blank, like to be working at the DMV next week,
Yeah, I didn't see I didn't see him pat anybody down on the way in, so it's like I have that thing where I don't trust any situation, but I could always tell people that haven't lived in a bad neighborhood by how calm they are all the time. And I'm like, dude, it's like I'm always looking around and just checking everything.
That's really funny. There's something.
You
really,
live in Harlem
really
in the late '90s. You're going to be a little more on edge.
Constantly staring at the door, expecting, disaster at any time, creeping behind.
When I come home and my apartment's not robbed, I'm just like, I'm surprised.
I'm giddy.
I'm like, oh, everything's here. This is great. Nothing happened. This is great. This is what a wonderful day.
That's really funny. There's something very funny about that.
Yeah, I could play with that. I like the idea of that just because that's what I want to talk about. That's like, that's an anxiety thing I haven't really explored enough. So it's like, but that's where it starts. And you look back and you're like, oh, putting my toys in a trash bag at like 4 a.m. Like, yeah, that'll mess a guy up,
Oh, that's really funny. When you're packing your GI Joes and when you're stuffing 3 Stretch Armstrongs into a gunny sack, like
when you're throwing Star Wars action figures and underoos in a trash bag.
Yes, that's really funny. At 2 a.m., right?
Yeah, at 2 a.m. Yeah,
ahead of a shotgun. Right, right after the sound of a shotgun. Like, that's something really funny about that. You're gonna. You don't have what I'm saying is I don't have a firm footing is what I'm saying. Like you guys, this is awesome. Yeah. You never get.
You're
going
to be a little on edge.
Firmly.
You're going to be a little on edge. Yeah.
That's right. And then you can, if you really want to call it out, you can go right now. I'm expecting, if you're on stage, you can go right now. I'm expecting a tax guy to show up or somebody you fill in the blank there, but somebody
or even my comedy. It's like I've had fist fights on stage, so I always say, "Oh, nobody punched me. This has been a good set."
That's funny, right? All right, but I'm literally expecting the tax assessor to show up in the back, and close the show down. Close this and close the venue or ask for mortgage payments on the venue itself. You know what I mean?
I'm ready for a landlord to break in and
Yes, that's funny. That's a funny idea.
You're 4 months late. I'm waiting for that.
No, but that's such a funny idea about the fact that whatever venue you're in, you're expecting whoever is the person who collects the fees for that venue is going to shut you down or force you to move. So you're a stand-up in a room, and the mortgage guy, the bank is going to foreclose on the comedy club that night.
I always keep a trash bag on me in case I got to throw some hats in a bag and get out of here.
That's really funny. Yeah, that's funny. I keep a trash bag with me at all times.
I'm taking this mic with me, just so you know.
Yeah. Post-traumatic. There's some trauma there, folks.
This is mine.
Yeah. I'm taking this with me, and I'm stripping this place for parts. I'm stripping this place for parts before the thing all goes down. That's funny.
Stripping it for parts. I love that.
All right, look at that.
Look at that.
We might have a new riff. A new riff for a new riff. Look, a new riff for Dustin. It's a children's book. Right? Adam,
how to survive a dysfunctional family in the late 80s.
That's really funny. And I know I saw Adam light up on that one. He goes, all right, I think we got something.
That would be a funny children's book. How to survive a dysfunctional family,
I know, but new riff for Dustin, but we call it new riff for Dustin. It's like
as a piece. Okay.
Yes.
I like that.
No, but no, I'm saying it's a piece, but it's a children's book. It's like a tale of a child that is one step ahead of the IRS and everything else. But he turns it into something good and special at the end. It's called
But I'm not even lying. I think I'm gonna write that book. Like growing up in a dysfunctional family, like what to do when your dad's a grifter. What do you do when your dad's this and your dad drinks too much? How do you handle it as a child? Well, I like to hide under my bed and play G.I. Joes or whatever it is, like little funny things that you find to the light in a dark family.
Yeah, that's really funny. If you're like,
the hair was a little curlier, but that's definitely it. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
That's amazing.
No, but get the word, Gail. Get the word. Oh, something. The punchline is bail bondsman. All I know is the punchline is bail bondsman. Like where you go. I don't know. We're in the room, and you guys. Some of you guys probably grew up worried about something, and I was worried about the bail bondsman. How many people? Something like that, like bail bondsman.
Well, I mean, I told you that story, like my dad getting arrested on our family vacation. Like that'll kind of ruin anything in your life.
Arrested during vacation? Yeah.
For a family vacation, my dad got arrested. And so it was like,
what were the charges?
We had, the story is we were coming back from Mexico and he was driving the car and he was going like 80 miles an hour, smoking, windows rolled up. It was like a gas chamber in this thing, right? And a cutlass. And he's going and then he sees like a trooper light up. And so he's on the other side of the freeway, so the trooper has to go around to come back and get him. And so my mom is in the passenger side, and my dad knew he had warrants out for his arrest. And so my mom and my dad switched seats while they were driving. So my dad's a big guy, and so he's like my mom's trying to get under him, and like he's trying to get over, and the car's just like going like this on the highway. And they switched seats. So my mom would be the driver when the cop came up. And so my dad, they switched seats while they were going down the highway like 80 miles an hour. It was terrifying. And so the cop was just like, he pulled us over and he was just like, are you kidding me? I saw that you were driving. They pulled him out. It was like a whole thing. And so we just, I have a better version of it.
But you have a bit about this.
I have a story. Yeah, I break it out when I'm doing like longer sets. I'll do like I'll.
Yeah, but you have to ground that. You have to make that funny. You have to ground that in comparative frame of reference of what normal people have. That way, the joke juxtaposition will be really funny. Like you went on family vacations. Oh, let's go on a road trip. You know what my blank, we're going to stop at Chuck E. Cheese and we're going to do this. And we have to pay my bail. You got to list out the thing.
I love that. Oh, we got to pay my dad's bail. We got to hide switchblades.
I had to post bail. You guys were, what's the joke? It's, you guys had to, it's got to sound like post bail, but like I don't have it, but
you guys got to win sale. I had to post bail.
Something like that. But you had to raise bail money. Like you had to had to sell cookies to raise money to get your dad out of jail. You know what I mean? Like
we had a bake sale to get my dad out of jail.
You guys had a bake sale, and we had to post. Yeah, and we had a
bake sale at a Kmart parking lot, just trying to get my dad
to raise bail money to get my father out of jail in Orlando. And be specific with the thing. That's funny.
Corpus, I think it's funny. Awesome. Corpus Christi, always a funny name.
Corpus Christi's funny. Orlando's kind of funny.
Yeah, we were actually close to Corpus. That's why it kind of works.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, I do a whole story about we went to Mexico, and then my dad he's a grifter, and like he tried to, I told you that story where like for our jobs, like part-time jobs, he gave us like briefcases full of fake watches. So like I was a junior high selling like fake Rolexes to like seventh graders.
Wait a second. When me and Adam are both reacting to this stuff, going, wait a minute, go back, like you don't even realize the light.
No, I do it on an album. I have it on an album. I talk about all the stuff's on albums. I just don't do it in a 20-minute club set. But I'll break out these stories. But my dad gave us watches and stuff. So when we went to Mexico, he bought a whole bunch of switchblades. And so we were going to try to sell these switchblades in Texas because they were illegal or whatever. So we transported switchblades from Mexico into Texas and bullwhips because Raiders of the Lost Ark was a big deal, and that came out. So we had switchblades and bullwhips loaded in the car. Meanwhile, like the whole thing was funny. I did.
You're a mule for your dad's stolen.
And then I do a whole thing when he got arrested. They pulled him out or whatever. And that's the only time my brothers and I came together as brothers. Like we hated each other, but in that moment we were like, are we gonna have to take this cop out? You know, I do a whole thing. It's like
funny.
We like
That's
switchblades
really
and stuff. Yeah,
wow.
it's like 80% developed. There's time I think I need to like, you know, like this is great. I love the idea of like your vacation. You went to Chuck E. Cheese and you had, you know, you had like you ate cotton candy. You know, my vacation, we try to bail my dad out while we, you know, drink stale coffee and like bread or whatever. So like the idea of the back and forth of like what your family vacation is compared to what my family vacation became is very funny. Like that's a great frame at the beginning.
Yeah, if you hit that, it's like What Women Want, my thing, boom, boom,
yeah,
boom.
it makes the story better because it's like the story could just be, because the reality of it is funny and crazy. Yeah. And then, you know, the only part I struggle with is like when the cop pulls over my mom and my dad.
Yeah.
And my mom was driving, and the cop obviously knew that my dad was the driver when he put on the lights. And so I can't ever think of a line that is funny when the cop comes up to the car and sees that my mom's now in the driver's seat, and my dad's over there like, hey, what's going on? Just smoking a cigarette. Like, well, hey, can we help you, officer? You know, like he's being all casual. So it's I can't ever think of a funny line right there. Like I've tried, like, are you kidding me? Or the reality was basically, he was like, I saw you, the guy with the beard, whatever. Like it's not, I can't ever think of a funny line when he pulls him over.
You could, I mean, the first thing that pops into my head obviously is like, that was the world's fastest gender transition. You know, like kind of, you know what I mean? Like the cop is like, wait, what just happened there? Like talk about gender transition surgery. You know, like that you know, like that was
fastest transgender.
Yeah, that is the fastest gender transition in American history.
That's funny.
That took 3 seconds.
That might work. Yeah,
I mean, it might be funny. You know, that was the first the first gender transition of all time, and the cop definitely wasn't buying it. You know. Unless you're, I mean, you could say, I'm trying to think of like Some Like It Hot, you know, like a reference about, you know, women wearing men's clothing or switching around. That in the ballpark of that's one idea. But you know,
I think it's funny because it's relevant and stuff. So it might be kind of a funny thing to put on an '80s story. You know, like the first, you know, that was the fastest gender transition that you know.
My parents were very ahead of the curve when it came to gender transition. Unfortunately, most of it was just to get out of being arrested, right? Like they were very progressive, my family, right? Gender roles. You know, I mean, you could really go someplace interesting with that. You know,
that was the
gender
fastest
roles.
Gender transition that cop has ever seen. You know, something like that.
That's kind of funny.
Almost like he's like, wow, like even before he gets arrested, maybe the whole thing is just like, what just happened? Maybe it's more that vibe than like, are you kidding me? You know,
right? But you could also go as a game of musical chairs. You know what I mean? Like in terms of who's driving the car, and whose car is it anyway? Who's driving the car? Whoever has the least amount of violations on their arrest record, you know, the cleanest rap sheet. Rap sheet is funny, right? Like whoever in my family, whenever we saw the blinking lights behind us, whoever had the cleanest rap sheet went behind the wheel, you know,
which was surprising because my mom had gotten arrested for shoplifting, so I was surprised that I wasn't chosen as the driver.
Right, and since you were younger, I'm surprised my father didn't just put me in there. Why is there an 8-year-old? Because you know why? Because why is there an 8-year-old driving your Cutlass?
No record.
Yeah. You know why? Because juvenile. What do they call that? Juvenile, where you're not. It's not going to show up on your record.
Yeah.
Or juvenile, because it's a misdemeanor. Because for him it's a misdemeanor. You know, you know.
I knew. That's funny. There's something funny about that. Where, I knew about law language before I knew about basic arithmetic. You know,
Yeah,
like, okay,
yeah.
so if you're caught in a car and you have this, and
Misdemeanor,
that's something funny about that, like the language of the law as a young child, as opposed to knowing
Yes.
basic arithmetic. I knew basic like get out of jail knowledge. You know?
Oh, that's really funny. If you know legal jargon, legal arcane, legal, what do they call those things? Like technicalities and things. Well, like you were advising your friends. Well, if your dad is behind the wheel, then that's a felony 2, and a misdemeanor 1 is but you're a juvenile, so the most that's going to happen.
And you don't have to take a breathalyzer. It's not your choice. You can refuse it. You know, something like
that's right. That's funny. That's funny. You know,
you're welcome to refuse it. You know,
if you were
they
smoking,
might take you in, but
yeah, that's funny.
There's
look
just
at
like
that.
there's something funny about that, like this law language as a child. That's very funny.
Yeah,
And then I could actually look up like particular language, and then like be like, well, actually a misdemeanor, like things like that, like
yeah, and
felonies
name drop a famous lawyer. Like I was Johnny Cochran had nothing on my knowledge of the law, like or Antonin Scalia or you know what I mean. John, like you had SCOTUS has got nothing on my as an 8-year-old. I hadn't. Yeah.
But sometimes it hurt me sometimes it hurt me in the classroom. You know, the teacher, would ask me a question, and I was like, "I plead the fifth." You know, be like, "I'm just asking who the first president was." You know?
Right. You're gonna go, or the teacher would say something like, "Dustin, you're gonna go to, you're gonna get in trouble if you talk like that or do something like that." It's actually because I'm under 13. It's a class. That's only a class 2 misdemeanor. I don't have to do jail time. Like right. Yeah. All of the robbery things. If you take something that, if you stole like a kid's pen or something, and the teacher goes, that's stealing. It's like, actually, that's a class 2 misdemeanor, Mrs. Johnson.
It's under $1,000. So actually,
minimum fine. It's only a minimum fine, and you go to juvie for a week. It's Shangri-La.
It's a cakewalk. What else you got?
Exactly. What else you got? Yeah. Yeah. Right.
It's a cakewalk. What else you got?
Yeah.
Teacher.
Cakewalk is funny. Yeah. All right. We're hitting on all cylinders today.
Yeah. All right. I was 9 on the side of the highway picking up trash. Hey yo.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right.
Well, what do you got, buddy? What are you working on?
I have something good that I really like. I tried it out last night, and there's something here, but I don't know where it's going. Basically, it's pretty obvious, but I need the framework. It's basically, all these problems in the world. No one knows what's going on. It's a very confusing time. Everyone has just lost the thread. I don't know what's happening. Nobody knows why things are happening, and the world is just full of everyone's just bewildered all the time and confused. And the audience resonates with this idea. There's nothing funny yet here, but I go, and then I just go, and the problem is, and you know who we need in this situation? Because folks, the world has been going downhill, and society has becoming more and more inexplicable ever since the Scooby-Doo kids retired, right? Okay, because I at our hour of need, okay, Fred, Velma, Shaggy, Daphne, look, our nation turns its lonely eyes to you, okay? In our hour of need, our nation cries out in one voice saying, "Scooby-Doo, where are you?" Okay, dust off the mystery mobile and drive it to Epstein Island right now, okay? We can get to the bottom of all of this, okay? And Adam is lighting up. I can see this right now. Adam is got the mystery mobile, drive it to Silicon Valley, and let's get to the bottom. Because who is Elon Musk but the perfect Scooby-Doo villain? There's an episode, he'd fit in well where they take the mask off, and I would have gotten eye with it if it wasn't for these meddling kids, or whatever. And so the bit is just basically about, we need the Scooby-Doo kids. They would be able to figure out Epstein, Russiagate, COVID.
My favorite is your last bit was Gilligan's Island, and now you're going Scooby-Doo.
I know. No,
you're just be like, are you a Gen Xer? Okay, cool. You're gonna love this. Oh, you're not? All right. Well, this isn't for you. Here we go.
But the movies. but the movies came out later, so I might
That was
get.
still a while. That was a while
Yeah.
ago. That's probably 20
Yeah.
years ago. Those movies came out.
I know, and so that's the question. You think anyone's going to laugh?
Well,
at
this is what
Scooby-Doo?
I would say. We don't have Scooby-Doo anymore. We have South Park. You know, I think that's South Park is the one that's, you know, kind of like that's what's protecting us now is like
No, but South Park, but they don't solve mysteries. That's the key
they
thing.
do.
Is
They solve a lot of mysteries. Are you kidding me? They solve everything. They
I
solve,
know,
we
but
found out who Trump was sleeping with. You know, we've
yeah, but I mean that's the whole. Yeah, I know. I guess the joke is that it is one of those things where I go, is anyone going to laugh at this? And if you don't, and you could put a qualifier in and say, and if anybody's not getting this, that's the problem, folks. You don't even remember. There was a show where that's it. There was
well, they
a
may
show
not remember because they didn't never watched it. But
that's
it's
right.
Definitely,
but there was a show that solved all of the big problems. And when you were a kid,
you have to do a little bit of that probably, especially if they're 20. Yeah.
Right. But I can do it. And you know, if I say, but there was a show that solved all of the big problems in the universe, folks. They uncovered the mysteries and did it. And I'm talking, of course, about Scooby-Doo, right? Okay, that's what we need right now, folks. Something like that, okay? Because if they don't get the reference and I can't make it work through explaining it, then the bit goes nowhere.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, you know, you're like, you know, you have to do the whole thing where you're like, Scooby-Doo, it was with this guy, and then they had this girl. We didn't know what gender she was. We had a dog that talked to a stoner guy. We had a thing, and they, you know, it's like you got to kind of like explain kind of the characters in order to like, and then it's like the fact that like they were able to do anything. I mean, everybody's high, everybody's like, you know, just something funny about just explaining all the characters could be funny.
Yeah.
The dog, you know, the dog was always kind of the one that knew what was happening. The dog always like helped I don't know if you realize that, but the dog probably had more to do with the, you know, the reveal than most of the people on the show. Like the dog would know something and like, you know, it'd be like, Scooby, what are you saying, Scooby? And then Scooby would like discover that wasn't the real guy.
We don't have anybody nobody trusts authority. Nobody telling us what to do. When I was, you know, we have. Oh, I just had it. What was it? We nowadays nobody trusts authority. Nobody has the answers. We have the internet is giving us, and yet in my day we had Scooby-Doo, right? Like
you know,
you could say,
yeah.
No, but I'm saying that you need to have a simple frame, a simple like kind of hook line that says, and you know what I had when I was a kid? We had Scooby-Doo. That had all the answers, no matter how deep the mystery was, no matter how confusing it was. COVID, they would have cracked that in 2 minutes. Or Epstein, Velma would have been in Epstein's cell. She would have gotten a confession if I did that. Now I have to do more damage control at the beginning to explain the concept and everything maybe, but
My favorite part about this is all your television references have a guest star starring the Harlem Globetrotters.
That's true.
Every TV reference, there's a Harlem Globetrotters episode.
I know.
So there's something you can't get away from the Harlem Globetrotter episode. So it has to be another one. I don't know if they were on the Love Boat, but you got to find another one because you're just really gonna keep going for these Globetrotter shows.
Well, is anyone to remember the Harlem Globetrotters? That's the next.
Well, they're still working. At least they're still out there.
Yeah,
there's probably one next week. You know, but there's you know. At least they're still kind of out there. No, I mean, I think you have a very Gen X vibe to your comedy, and I know you talk a lot about, you know, those things. And so as long as you frame it in like, you know, and have some sort of like, what is your Scooby-Doo now? You know, you guys have, you know, Murder in the, you know, with Steve Martin and those guys, or what is it now that's solving crimes or doing? What is your TV show that is your, you know, your heroes of now? I think you have to have a little bit of that because I think it needs a balance. Because if it's all just old stuff, sometimes it might not resonate unless you say it's kind of like this, like, you know.
Well, that's the question. Is is something like if you say the Brady Bunch, like nowadays, you know what I mean? Obviously,
Yeah.
do people get the reference simply because it's been passed down? They don't know the show, they don't know the plots or anything else, but they know what that means. And the Scooby-Doo mysteries, is enough people going to get it to justify the?
Yeah, like I've heard of Van Morrison. I could not name one song, you know. So, and I'm an old guy.
Yeah.
So I think there's like, you know, there's a thing like that where maybe they've heard the name, but they don't know that it's a bunch of kids that are in a marriage and they come from different, you know, families. I don't know if they know like the cusp of the show. They've heard the phrase, I'm sure, or the name of the show. So it's like, but you know, you don't know. They may not know what Marsha means. You know, they just they don't know that they don't know the punchlines of what the show is.
No one's gonna get that. But just all I need is like a basic thing to hang the hook of the bit on, and the movies have updated it just enough, a little bit, to kind of fold some people in who might not be as familiar. Plus, I hate to say it, but they remade Scooby-Doo on the Cartoon Network that everyone hated. Adam, you know about this, right? They did a new version that everyone said was woke or something, and it was 2 years ago, and everyone was trashing it. So it was like Velma was like, I don't know, like what was Velma? Velma was like a non-binary lesbian activist or something like that, or whatever. You know?
I mean, it's like that's a way to go as well. Like you guys ruined my childhood with your updated versions of things. You know, like there's something kind of funny about that. Where when I was a kid, Scooby-Doo was, you know, they were just Scooby-Doo, you know, this and that, and then now you're trying to make it, you know, this woke version or whatever. It did not go over well when you know you got Thelma protesting, you know, in a march or something, as opposed to just trying to like, you know, find out who the killer was or whatever. I don't know. Just so that might be something. I mean, it sounds complicated. I would really want to watch you like, you know, do this in front of like a mixed crowd and see the reactions, because that's the only way you're gonna know is you do it 20 times. But I'm just curious. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of I don't trust that kids are hip enough sometimes to know older stuff, and so I don't know. I think unless it's like made some resurgence on TikTok or something, they're really kind of clueless. They don't. There's no television anymore. It's all streaming. It's so I don't know. Nobody's watching reruns anymore. It's all like, you know. I don't know.
I know. I just think that you know the audience.
I mean, Cartoon Network does, you know, play this stuff. So that's your only prayer is Cartoon Network.
Right. The question is, do people get a Brady Bunch reference, a Gilligan's Island reference? Obviously, these are old references, and there are certain things from that era that nobody's going to get. Like you know, they're used. I mean, I don't know if you probably remember all of the television references, like Murder, She Wrote. No, who's the Andy Griffith played the lawyer? What was his name?
Matlock.
Yeah. Now, no one if you say, "Hey, let's check out Matlock over here," no one's going to get that.
Well, they're going to think of the new one. They're going to think the one with you know, Kathy Bates or whatever. Yeah.
No, what I'm just using it. If take the Kathy Bates one out of the thing, I don't even know if anyone watches that. But I'm saying that when TV was, you know, 3 networks or whatever, everyone got the basic references. Lawyer, Matlock, you know, Marcus Welby or whatever, ER, whatever. Like there were certain references that were universal.
But I think the only way these bits work is if you take them on the journey of your childhood and frame it with, like, you guys have thousands of choices. It's on your phone. You have, like, you know, you watch shows and, like, you know, just 3-minute things and whatever. Like, and we were a kid, we had 3 channels. We watched these kind of cartoons, you know, we did this and that. And, you know, it was like, I think you have to kind of frame it where it's just like, this is what my experience was. This is what yours is now. And so I think that, and the, you know, kind of the 2 worlds kind of being so different is a way to kind of bring it all in. And then, like, the thing is with Scooby-Doo, it's like, you know, every episode was like somebody just pulled a mask, you know, and even now it's in my psyche. I'm always waiting for Trump to, like, pull a thing off, and it's like, you know, you know, Bin Laden or something. Like, there's just something funny about that being, you know, kind of every episode was somebody pulling a mask off.
Yeah. And they never, the thing about that I think is just funny is because it simplifies the complexity of the world that we're living in, and boils it down to the most trivial kind of thing. Whereas like Elon Musk, George Soros, Bill Gates, the guy, I send the Scooby-Doo to Wuhan, China. To me, that's really funny. Now, obviously, that's even dated. But
how about this? How about we do an AI Scooby-Doo joke and see what AI comes up with?
Oh yeah, let's do it. I love it. Let's do it. Scooby-Doo jokes, AI. I can't wait to see what hack, nightmarish material is gonna spit
as
out.
you write 4 of them down.
Yes, I'm going to use all of them. I will take every one of them. Okay.
All right. What should we have the topic for Scooby-Doo?
Scooby-Doo saves the world now, or so. Well, like, what's your premise, Brian?
Jokes. Scooby-Doo jokes about the current political scene.
Oh, that's funny.
All right. So we're going to do 30 to 60 seconds.
They're going to say
60.
Musk. If they don't say Musk and they don't say George Soros, they're
Do we get to hear it?
Angela Merkel.
Okay, great.
I read the first line of the thing. It's in the ballpark of what I'm talking about. And so we need the Scooby-Doo kids to solve all of today's mysteries, which obviously that's the obvious joke. But to me, it's a much bigger frame to say we live in a real troubled time. We live in this, like, people are bewildered. And I am. They look to comedians.
Well, add some of those words in your description.
Yeah.
Be like,
and
apocalyptic times or something.
Cynical, question authority, elite opinion. Elite authority is not trusted. And to me, the joke is that everything's gone downhill since the Scooby-Doo kids left. Like, because there's nobody working on this stuff. There's nobody that anyone has universal trust in. There's no.
Let's just play and see what we hear.
Yeah.
So have you ever wondered what Scooby-Doo would be like in today's political climate? Shaggy would probably be the first to start a Green Party, and it wouldn't be for the environment. Meanwhile, Velma's out there debunking conspiracy theories with facts and logic. And Fred's just standing there wondering why his ascot isn't trending on TikTok.
That's kind of funny.
Oh, Scooby has the best job of all. He'd be a fact checker. He's been unmasking phonies since the 70s. Rue wrote, "That's not the truth."
You cut and paste this, send it to Brian. It's going to make his bit.
See, I would not. Yeah. That's almost
not true.
That's not. I mean, most of that's horrible, but some of it's got some framework potential. At least is like I can see. I wouldn't.
Well, I mean, as far as Scooby-Doo bits go, I mean, the audience is waiting, especially a man of many voices like yourself. They're waiting for a Scooby.
Well, sure. If you know,
I mean, I guarantee you could crush that. So I'm not saying you should do it, but I'm just saying you got those skills. I mean, you're wasting them to not do a Scooby voice.
Yeah, Elon Musk, Doge.
Yeah.
Hey, it looks like Doge. It looks
like Eddie Van Halen not doing a solo. You know what I mean? You got to do it.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like people are like, when's it going to happen?
Yeah. No, I'm just thinking, when's he going to do it? Just get to it.
Yeah, that's all we're waiting for. Once you say Scooby-Doo, once you've established your voice capabilities, they're going to be like, okay, here it comes. It's coming.
Doge has discovered overspending in American aid. You
gotta do the
spending.
Whatever that is.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
I mean, you have to do it. You can't do a Scooby-Doo, a 3-minute Scooby-Doo bit without throwing some of that in there. It's like, but saying it with like strong political like statements is funny as long as it's intellectual like that, and then you do it as Scooby going, then it's funny.
Yeah.
Then it creates kind of this silliness to it, which you need because you're, it's like you're doing
I don't
a
want to
Scooby-Doo bit. It can't be that serious. It's got to be a little silly. The fact that you say the name Scooby-Doo You know,
Yeah.
it's like you
Yeah.
kind of lose your Bill Hicks for a minute, and you got to like go and you got to get into it.
Right. Well, there is I in my own defense, I have to say that there is a note of I'm quite aware of what I'm doing here in terms of like there's a cynical aspect to it, like where I'm just using this frame to hang smarter jokes onto it. You know, I'm
Yeah,
take the
no,
stupid-
which you can, but you got to do the voices and the silliness of it is what's going to allow you to kind of get the laugh you may not get from the statement.
Wait, the lab leak theory, yeah. Raw.
Yeah, that is it. That's never not been it. That's it. I mean, that's you know,
it's funny.
you gotta. It's
I mean,
funny.
I hate this.
It's it makes it funny. I'm a 20-year-old. I'm a middle-aged person. That's funny. Either way, it's funny because you're doing that sound to something that's serious.
Yeah, yeah.
Women's
I guess,
rights. You know, whatever. Like just whatever the thing is.
Right. The Surgeon General. Yeah.
Oh,
what else we got?
One? All right, let's go play this. I just want to hear it, not read it.
You ever notice how Scooby-Doo villains would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for those meddling kids? In today's political climate, they'd be hailed as entrepreneurial geniuses. Imagine the headlines, local businessman disguises himself as ghost to lower property values, buys entire town for pennies on the dollar. That's not a crime. That's a TED Talk. And what's with all the creature costumes? In this age of Twitter, you'd think they'd just start a rumor about a haunted Starbucks. The grand lattes are possessed. The avocado toast has been cursed. Honestly, the biggest mystery in Scooby-Doo is why these villains don't just run for office. They've got the whole scaring people into doing what they want thing down pat. Though come to think of it, maybe that's a bit too on the nose.
Hey.
Wow. Yeah. I do like the only thing. The only thing I got out of that was
I'm so bad at voices.
that's wow.
Like,
Ouch.
don't say ouch. I'm not. I don't claim to be good at it. I don't claim to be good at it.
I didn't say a word.
I'm good at late night crowds pulling out something. That's all I'm good at.
Yeah, hold on. I'm just going to write down the one thing I got out of it that made me laugh.
Oh, listen to this guy. This is crap. Let me write this down.
What? No.
From AI. You're like, these AI the comedians, this is the worst. Hack. Oh, hold on a second. That's pretty good.
Wait, well, he didn't say no. He didn't say anything funny. I thought Scooby. Yeah, let me write that down. Hold on. I'm feeding all of this. I'm Carlos Mencing all of this.
Hey, we don't say that word. We don't say that name. We're supposed to be incognito. Remember? You're the one that made clear of that.
I'll cut that. All right. Can we fix that in post?
Yeah. You're the one that said don't say his name.
Okay. I did.
You did. Remember? We were coming up with the nicknames for the AI, and you said that's too close.
Well, what was the name that we came up with, though? I can't remember now. No, I thought it was funny. No.
But you didn't want it too close. You wanted it.
No,
like,
I know that. But I'm wrestling with the. But what was the name? It was really funny. Adam, what was it? It was
have to look at our text. I don't know.
Yeah,
it was like Carlos Mencing AI or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, but there was something else.
No. I think we settled on comedian Man CI. I think instead of the Carlos. That's what we.
Right.
That's what we. Man CI. Man CAI.
Is that right? It's CAI.
I think so.
Man CI. Is that what we
Whatever
said?
that is.
We gotta look that up.
Man CAI. That's what we did.
Yeah.
That's what you decided on. I'm okay with Carlos. Man CAI.
Right, but what? Is that what we said? I feel like that we miss it. There's some. How did the C get in there? It was a man. I feel like a man.
Man AI. Is that what you said? I don't know. That feels.
No. Maybe it is man CAI. That's it. Man CAI. Man CAI. Comedian man. This is our AI comedian man CAI. That is so funny because it's close enough that people are going to get it and other people won't. It's scathing. But I like the idea of Scooby being the first furry. That's the one thing that the guy was babbling, and I said, "Oh, Scooby being a furry is kind of funny," but I don't even know. I feel like it's so hack when the more we discuss it, like I feel like, okay, this feels like a hack bit. And when I first thought of it, I thought, this isn't a hack bit. This is me filtering very complex current challenges through my infantile childhood.
No, I
Gen
think
X
it's
experience.
the idea is there. I think it's like you know, I know what you're doing, and I think it's got some sort of legs. But I think it's one of those. It's like you say the name of something that's an old TV show. It's just gonna have like some things that are attached to it. Like I said, they're gonna expect a voice. They're gonna, it's like they have to kind of know about the mysteries and the van and the mask and all that in order to really get certain punches that you're going for. So I think it's complicated.
And I feel like some comedian. I saw a comedian online, one of those online comedians, and he was doing a very like articulate dissection of the current of a similar idea about how complex the world is and everything else, but it didn't have any. It was so serious that it wasn't funny really, and I feel like just this is the punchline that I have, which is like that we need the Scooby-Doo kids, we need Velma, we need someone to answer these questions because the current authoritative voices are not doing their jobs, and we've lost the thread.
It would be funny if they like. They approach Trump and he's like, no, this is not a mask. It just looks like one,
Right. I'm trying to get his mask off.
They're trying to take the mask off. They're like, no, that's his face.
Yeah. No, that's just his face. That's funny. That's really
his face.
Funny.
It looks like a mask, but it's that's just his face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
no,
right,
it's I think it's good. You want to we could do the wheel or we do another AI. We could do I thought this was kind of funny with a personal thing. It's like my girlfriend and I, it's like we've been together 19 years and it's funny. It's like, when we first moved in together, it's like everybody like, we still kind of like we're aware of each other and kind of as being like, a couple and lovers and all that stuff. And, we go to bed with the nice underwear and the stuff. And then last night, like I had a posture brace on. She had a mouthpiece in for her, her teeth grinder thing. And it's just like, she's got a face mask on. There's just something funny about like, just as time goes, it's like less of the sexy goes out the window. And it's just like, everybody's like got tape on their face and like, just trying to like, just fight time.
No. At first,
she's like, she's got a mouthpiece in. I wake up. She's like, "Oh, I love you." Like she can't talk. Like there's just something funny about.
There was something sexy when we started out. It was like an Eyes Wide Shut party, and now it looks like an ER. It looks like an ER.
Yeah, that's funny.
It looks like the ER. Where
Eyes Wide Shut. That's a great reference. It was. Yeah, that's funny.
It looks like it went from it used to be sexy. You'd go in the bedroom and it went from an Eyes Wide Shut to party. Now it looks like an ER. Like this.
Is there another thing besides ER? Like it's got to be the mouthpiece and the mask. I thought it was funny. It reminded me of like Mexican wrestling match or something.
Well, you could say emergency room. What are you trying to get? What's the joke? And I thought it was like that. You guys have mouthpieces and tape and everything else.
Yeah.
So, the emergency room, you don't have to say ER.
It's like the waiting room. It looks like the waiting room in an ER. That's kind of funny. Like the waiting room. Because
what's the one that are all over the city? Urgent care. That's funny.
Urgent care. It's like the waiting room in an urgent care. That's kind of, I like waiting room. Waiting room in an urgent care. That's funny.
Or a hospital waiting room, if you want to add syllables. Or hospital
I like
waiting
urgent
room.
care. I think because that's funnier than it's less. I don't know, triggering than hospital
emergency room.
Yeah.
That's good.
I like.
And yes, I do have a hard out in 2 minutes.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. I want to see what Adam comes up with Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo and Elon Musk and Elon Musk Scooby-Doo reference.
Lost without you. It's even in the song. We're so lost without you. Scooby-Doo.
I don't know the song.
You? We're so lost without you.
Oh, there you go. That's great. I didn't even know that was in there. I don't know the song. That's how sad.
Okay, you need to know your Scooby if you're going to bring up Scooby. Yep. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
All right, folks. All right. We'll be selling Scooby snacks on the website. Please follow us, and we love you. God bless America. Please help us.
Right.
Bye.
Yep.
Well, folks, that's our show. It's time for us to go. Make sure to follow us, give us a like, drop us a comment, and always subscribe. We're chasing comedy on all the socials. We hope you had a gas, had some laughs, and maybe you learned something too. Until next time, we're Brian and Dustin, and we're chasing comedy.